Hey y'all, and welcome back. We are diving into another top 5 video for today. Today we are on the top 2 palette out of all the palettes I tried in 2022. My number 2 palette. I got 2 kitties playing on the floor right next to me, so if you hear anything, that's them. If you notice or look at me and say, man, Katie's eyes look a little bit red, they are stained from yesterday's video, which is this palette right here. So be forewarned, if you like that palette, you might have very stained eyes the next day, and this is with concealer on top. So, looking a little crazy, but that's okay. We're about to do my makeup because I'm about to create a look with my number 2 palette out of all the palettes that I tried this year. And actually, for this palette, I'm maybe cheating a little bit, but I'm putting 2 palettes at my number 2 spot because they're from the same brand that released within like months of each other. So I'm putting both of these palettes at number 1 because I also thought it'd be fun to do a look with both of them. This is from a Simply Posh Cosmetics. They launched the Fairy Tale Fairies palette earlier this year, and then a few months after that came out with the Genuine Gems palette. I purchased this one, fell in love with it. The brand sent me this one. I love both of these palettes so very much, and as I was doing my top 10, I was like, okay, like which one? I even did this when I reviewed it. It's so hard for me to pick which palette beats the other one, like where I would place it, which one I love more. So I hemmed and hawed for forever, and I was staring at the color choices, and I was like, you know what if I did like put them both at number 2 and then create a look together? Because these the colors are so fun. What if we combine the palettes? So that's what we're going to do today. And I have both of these palettes in my number 2 spot because I just love it that much. So let's go ahead and get close. I am ready to put some makeup on, cover these red eyes, and get started with the day because it is super early. None of my kids are awake. So this is unusual for me to be filming this early, but let's go ahead and jump right in and get to playing with some makeup. Alright, the kittens are playing with each other on the other side of the doors. They're like sticking their paws out to each other. So they're being a little loud right now. But anyway, put a little bit more concealer on my eyes. Man, that pink stained really bad. But anyway, here is the palette that we're going to be working with. Look at this. I know it's going to be out of focus, but like so pretty. I want to dive into the greens, I feel like, because especially with this color or this palette, the greens weren't as strong. They were more of that, just those 3 colors there, minty green. And this has so many gorgeous greens. I love a good green. So I feel like I want to do green and then kind of a mustardy orange to match my shirt. That's what I'm thinking. So I definitely want to dive into the Fairy Tale Fairies palette and use Evergreen first because that is a gorgeous deep green. And we're going to dab it right in here. Their mattes are so nice. I can't wait to try their more lighter mattes because I remember, especially with the Fairy Tale Fairies palette, they're more of like a pastel color, but they were so pigmented. So intensely pigmented. I probably should have waited another moment before diving in because my eye was a little bit tacky from putting on more primer. I could not believe how stained my eyes were last night. Not a huge deal, but that's okay. Like, look at that. I was getting a little bit streaky there, but just more tapping in, and it's just so pigmented and smooth. That's lovely. Alright, so after that I'm going to go into Topaz from the Genuine Gems palette, and then Citrine on top of that. I already did it to my other eye, but I'm going to go into Topaz first so it stays nice and dark. This probably isn't going to be my most creative look with this, but I don't know, I'm just really feeling this grungy kind of mustardy green look that I really want to do. I think I'm going to pop some mint green on the outer corner instead of keeping it so grungy, just to change it up. But I really wanting to do this type of look because I just was thinking this morning how it would go so well with the shirt I have on. So we're trying to kind of match it, and I got errands to run, so I think it'll be pretty to wear out as well. And yeah, so not super creative, especially compared to yesterday's look where it stained my eyelids that red. But it'll be a fun look nonetheless. Alright, so then after that I'm going to take that, what is it, Citrine, the lightest yellow. That was the one kind of downside to this palette, or just nitpick I could give with the Genuine Gems, is that there were 3 different types of kind of mustardy yellows, and I definitely didn't need both. I feel like these 2 is what was needed. The middle shade, Amber, is the other yellow. I feel like you could have kind of done without just because they're so very close. But I do love a good mustard yellow, so they're so loud. But anyway, I don't mind that much. But just, kind of looking at it objectively and knowing that I would nitpick it a whole lot more if it was like the reds, I figured I would mention that, and I definitely did notice that in creating looks. So yeah, I'm just going to do this. Look at what effortless blend that I get from both of those. Like, there's never like a harsh line I mean, obviously there's the two different colors, but like once I take the second brush to kind of blend the two together, they just melt together so beautifully. Ugh, I love it so much. Okay, so now we're gonna take the minty colors from the Fairy Tale Fairies palette. Make sure I'm using both of them here. Question is, which minty color? I think I'm going to start with Whimsical, and I might add a little bit of Charmed on the end. Are you gonna come up? Ah, you're gonna come up here. Hi. Hi. Hi, Peppermint. How are you? You just climb right up whenever you feel like it, don't ya? Yeah, you do. Oh, you gonna go back down and play with Whiskers? Okay. Okay, so just gonna go into Whimsical, and I'm gonna pop this right in there. I probably should have left a little bit more room. I feel like that yellow kind of overtook the entire thing, especially since I'm pairing kind of warm and cool tone here. I should have left more space, but oh well, we're gonna roll with it and see what we can do. But yeah, I'm gonna put this on there. Like, look how pigmented. It's such a pigmented pastel that it like goes over the darkest shade like so intensely that I have to go back in and tap a little bit of the dark shade just to kind of help mesh the two together, because it's so intensely pigmented. I love that. So nice. And then take another blending brush, going into Charmed, and go right on top of there. Probably don't need to use this shade, but I want to use another shade from the Fairy Tale Fairies palette. The greens were so... I think my favorite look I ever did with the Fairy Tale Fairies palette was when I combined the green and pink. I did like green on the outer edge and then pink in the inner edge, and then kind of reversed it for the shimmers on my lid. That was my favorite look. It was so pretty, and I love that combination of the pink and green. But yeah, this is looking nice. It just has a hint of another color green way out here, and then I'm going to go back in with that more detailed brush and the more intense green. Gonna tap it right between where the dark and light meet, and that's gonna do it. Very pretty. Alright, I'm adding a bit of Woodland, which is the second darkest green. Not Evergreen that we've been using, but just a little bit of Woodland, the second shade. And I'm just bringing it in here to help mesh and blend these two. I like how this is looking. The two of them, Whiskers and Peppermint, just tumble and play all day. It's so cute. Okay, I really like where this is heading for sure. Now let's go ahead. We're gonna finish the shimmers too. I always do this. I feel like start to say I'm gonna do one thing and then I'm like, nah, never mind. So for the lid, I want to have it pop with something, because I feel like I'm getting a little, not boring, but this is definitely like an everyday type of look, and I'm gonna film another video later, so I want it to be a little bit fun and striking. So I'm kind of thinking I should take each of the shimmers for the lid just to make it pop. Like I said, I wasn't the craziest big fan of the shimmers in the Fairy Tale Fairies palette just because it was a little hard to transfer, but the ones in the Genuine Gems are very pretty. So I'm kind of thinking to go with like this intense green right here, which was definitely a favorite from the Fairy Tale Fairies, and then I could like do, what could we do to have like a pop of something? Not really feeling blue, not really feeling pink. I could do this like red, pinky red, I guess. Not really feeling purple. This shade is also really pretty. It's more of an orange and it's a little less pigmented. So that's why I'm kind of thinking to do this more pop of color all over my lid, and then I could do the green kind of a cut crease type of look. I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go into my glitter foil liner from NBA Cosmetics because I'm probably going to also top this look with this color. I had someone ask in a comment in a video not too long ago, like, what's the glitter primer trick? I forget how I worded it, but basically, I wish I could remember who told me to do this, but someone left a comment on my videos when I was talking about like stuff transferring, and they said not only use a glitter primer underneath your shimmers, but also on top, and it can help seal it in. Now, it's definitely something you have to be careful, because if you go like too rough just rubbing this clear glitter primer all over your eye, you're gonna move the shimmer everywhere. But I'll show you in this video. It really does work if you very carefully just pat it over, and I especially focus where I get the most transfer. It definitely helps my shimmers not transfer as much. Alright, so I'm gonna dive into the Genuine Gems Precious shade first. This was definitely my favorite, and if it's too like hot pinky red, I can also top a little bit of this Carrot on top, which has got more orangey tones or yellowy tones to it, so it kind of tones it down and not so bright of a pink. I've definitely done that with a look when I was creating looks with this palette. Alright, I'm gonna pop this on the lid. Hey you guys, the rest of the house is sleeping. We gotta be quiet. Alright, popping it just like this. It's kind of, the way I'm creating this looks kind of reminds me of a look I did with the Alice in Wonderland from Sigma, just the color story of it. But we're gonna make it pop with something a little different with this on the lid. This is such a pretty shade, and like I said, I really like this formula a whole lot more. It's easy to pick up, still super sparkly, still got so much intensity to the color, still so pretty. But it's so much easier to pick up with a brush than I remember the Fairy Tale Fairies palette being. So I'm going to take this over the majority of the lid and just tap it on like that. Okay, I already did it on this eye. I really like how it's looking. I still got to blend it, but we're going to go into Sparkles, that green from the Fairy Tale Fairies palette. And we're just going to pop it here. Look how gorgeous that is. So pretty. And this green is like a super bright green, but also has like yellow in it. Some of those kind of shifty duochromes is what I would describe it as. So depending on what you pair it with, it'll kind of, different shades will stand out. Because I've definitely used it and had more of a lime green effect. I kind of slur my words all together when I'm waking up and tired. Still waking up over here, but anyway, and so with this look I feel like you can definitely see more of the yellow aspects standing out because it's next to such warm yellows up there. I think that's really pretty. But yeah, this is really nice. I remember this being one of my favorite shades because it's also fairly easy to pick up with a brush than some of the other ones, but oh, this is so beautiful. So I'm gonna cut it like that, and then I think I'm gonna go back over with a little bit more of that pink just to make the pink stand out and kind of be dominant in this look because I don't want to cover it too much. So I'm just gonna go with whatever's left on my brush with the yellow and blend it in, and then put on a little bit more red and amp up, or not red, pink, whatever. Precious. We're gonna take Precious. It makes me think of Lord of the Rings. We're gonna take Precious and just pop a little bit more on just to make sure this shade is nice and dominant in the center of the lid. And then we'll bring it up because I just want that green to be like a cut, just a little bit of a brightness there. I think these were a good color combo because there's that yellow already in that, the pink, the Precious that I used. There's a little bit of a yellow reflect. That's something I can say I love about the colors, or this palette, is just that the shimmers are so intense and they got so much sparkle to them, and each shade, like, yes, at face value they're this color, but there's so much sparkle to them, and there's like a secondary color there, that duochrome effect that just makes them so special, so stunning to use. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm gonna take a little bit, let's go into just, I'm gonna take a little bit of Woodlands, that second to the darkest green from the Fairy Tale Fairies palette. And I'm going to use that to tap over this yellow, or this pink. Are you climbing my basket? I see you over there. I always like to tap over whatever color is for the shimmer. I like to take my darker shade and tap over the shimmer just to kind of help meld the two colors and just meld the shimmer. The shimmer and the matte. Hello, dearest. My shoulder is now bleeding, and now my stomach. She does not mind climbing, and I love it, but oof, sometimes it's painful. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and finish out pretty much my makeup. This is pretty much the look. Okay, you probably won't see this part, but I had just signed off before I started doing my face. I had said I would just finish out my lower lash line by myself and then do something for the inner corner and show you guys later, just to save time because I'm trying to beat my kids from waking up and, you know, being able to finish my makeup before they wake up. But anyway, totally forgot I told you guys I was going to show you what it looks like when I seal, what I do to seal my eye look in with, oh hello, you're coming back up. Hey, you have such a loud purr. Oh, we got both of them up here. How I seal my eyeshadows. Oh, you just gonna play with the brush? No, you're not coming up here. Here's my two kittens. Hi. This one's so loving. And this one, she's warming up to us. She's just a bit more of a less lovey-dovey type, but they're both super sweet. They love to climb around. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna show you how I seal it in. Let me go ahead and we're just gonna finish my lower lash line together since I have you guys on camera again. Let's go ahead and dive into Evergreen right there. I think that's something I definitely love about pairing these two together, is because I love the Genuine Gems, but it was a little lackluster when it came to the depth. So being able to use the Fairy Tale Fairies, I'm able to get that depth really easily, because I remember with the Genuine Gems, oh, they're playing with my socks. With Genuine Gems, I had to kind of mix colors or take a little bit of time to build it up to get the depth that you guys know I like. But this, the Fairy Tale Fairies palette has such intense deep shades, it takes no work, especially the greens. I feel like the greens is where it's strongest, and blues. Green and blue was nice and strong, but then I can mix the green and blue with the kind of other colors to get deep purples as well. So pretty. Oh, that hurts so much, little girl. And then I'm going to go into this shade, and let's go ahead and just take amber, which is that other orange, and I'm going to use that same brush, I just cleaned it off, that I used the darker yellow with, which was topaz, and I'm just going to take this underneath here. Gonna go like that. So pretty. Okay, and then I think for the outer corner, just to kind of blend it all together, I'm just gonna take Charmed and just kind of take that around. Not, oh, ow, that hurt. Nothing intense. Like, look, it's so intense. I used too much there. Nothing crazy. I'm not really looking to make a difference like I did here. I'm just gonna blend it out just to soften it a touch. But yeah, I really like the lighter tones in here. Yeah, like it's so light. You're biting my toe, little girl. That hurts. But this is so light that I feel like I have to go back on with my darker tones just to tap it back in. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do my inner corner, and then I'll show you guys how I seal this all in. I don't even remember what I had said initially when I signed off what I was going to use for my inner corner. There's so many beautiful shades. I kind of am leaning towards this green. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. This is the green in the Genuine Gems palette. It's a little bit more of a iridescent type of green, but I feel like it'll tie in the outer corner really nicely. And then we can, I'll show you guys how I seal it in. Someone had asked for me to do a video, and I kind of meant to. It'd be a super short video, but I kind of meant to do a dedicated one just so it's easy to find on my channel. But until I manage to squeeze that in somewhere, might as well show you guys here, because there really isn't anything like a big to do about it. Literally I just tap it over, but I feel like there's a little bit of a learning curve with how to tap it, because like I said, you can disturb your eye makeup and kind of mess it all up, so you do have to be careful of that aspect. The shimmers in these palettes are so pretty. Okay, but now I'm just going to take the flat brush that I was using with both of my shimmers, going to clean it off, and then what I do is I'll just take I have to use a clear. I feel like the NYX glitter primer is like a tacky, not super clear, so I like one that's like basically looks like water. I'm running out of this one, but I got a little bit left. So I would say get one that kind of looks like water, so it's clear and it's easy to apply because you literally just kind of mush it over. But I tap it on my brush to get it nice and wet. Nothing too heavy though, you don't want a ton of product on there. And literally all I do is I'll just start tapping it, and once I can feel that it's wet on my eye, I leave it alone. Because like I said, if you do too much, especially if you're like swiping, you're gonna mess up and pick up your eyeshadow, cause like bald spots, all that sort of thing, which I do not want to do at all after creating this look. And then the next big thing that you have to make sure you do is do not open your eyes right now. Like keep them hooded, keep them looking down. So I'm gonna, that's why I kind of want to do this very last, so that I don't have to like try to do my lower lash line keeping my eyes closed, because that's hard. But anyway, I'm just gonna do this and I pat all over till I feel like it's all nice and wet, and then I keep my eyes down, looking down until it is completely dry, and that's literally it. And doing this little trick, I feel like keeps it's not foolproof where it's 100% doesn't transfer, but it keeps trickier shadows that want to go up to my brows, it keeps them where they just transfer, maybe a touch up here, just keeps them a whole lot longer. And I'm not looking at you because like I said, I gotta look down, it's still wet, so I just sit here and I wait until it feels dry, and then we're good to go. So that is my glitter primer trick, where I sandwich it not only underneath but also on top. So at this point, I'm gonna keep looking down. I'm gonna go finish out the rest of my face. I'll be right back, and then we can close out this video. Alright you guys, so here is the finished look, just in time because I hear my little one Sophia waking up and my other little ones are starting to stir. But this is the final look using the Genuine Gems and Fairy Tale Fairies palette from Simply Posh Cosmetics. Simply Posh Cosmetics I discovered, like I said, with Fairy Tale Fairies at the very end of the year, but oh my goodness, as you can see, they're getting the #2 spot because they just blew me away with the quality of their mattes and the intense beautifulness of their shimmers. I love them so much as a brand, and I can't wait to continue to see what they do in 2023, what they bring out. They've done such a great, fantastic, amazing job with Genuine Gems and Fairy Tale Fairies palette. Like I said, I cannot wait to see what they come out with next year, but I was so excited to get to use these two together. Like I said, maybe not the most creative look, but definitely very pretty, very striking. I love using these two together because, like I said, I could get the depth that I love in the Fairy Tale Fairies palette, paired with the shimmers that I like in the Genuine Gems, and the grunginess that I love in the Genuine Gems, and they're just a beautiful match together. So if you have these two palettes, I definitely highly recommend you pair them together and just be able to get the most that you can out of these. Also, something that I didn't mention is that both of these palettes are magnetic, so you can take these out and use them just like you would a single, or you can mix and match them into one palette, whatever you want. And I think that really does elevate these in my eyes, especially when you're considering the price and whatnot. The quality is so amazing. The ability to personalize and specify the color story to your own liking, being able to move them around, I just cannot recommend them enough. So definitely a brand out of all the palettes I tried in 2022, or just out of all the brands I tried in 2022, Simply Posh Cosmetics really surprised me, absolutely just thrilled me when I got to play with their palettes. So definitely had to give them a high ranking in this rankings video for all the palettes I tried in 2022. So with that said, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. And stay tuned, as my next video is going to be the #1 palette of all the palettes I tried in 2022. Which palette came out at #1, the very top, my favorite from the year? Let me know your guesses down below. I'm sure it's kind of easy to guess by now, but let me know your guesses down below and stay tuned. Hopefully that video will be coming tomorrow. And with all that said, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there if you want to follow me. And I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.